NFC quarterback. So Jordan Love, guys, all the ability in the world. We talked about him over the last couple of days. Matthew Golden will now be in number one, so you're going to take a good offense and make it great. Jayden Daniels, to me, on the verge of being a superstar in the NFL. I'm assuming Terry McLaurin will be there at some point. Jared Goff, we got to give him his due. Still great, led by Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. That Detroit offense will still be good. And then the Super Bowl champ, Jalen Hurts. He's someone that, hey, he's beaten Patrick Mahomes and outplayed him in the last two of the last three Super Bowls. I know you.
Yeah, and that face right there is essentially really what I want to talk about and address. I'm not going to go through this entire clip because it just doesn't interest me at this point, right? We can't just go through every single list. We're also entering August. I appreciate the quarterback rankings and the list, especially when it's like May, June, July. We got like nothing else to talk about. They're fun. They're interesting. They can be dumb at times, of course, but it's still, they're all just kind of jumping off points to have conversations of like, how do we feel about our quarterbacks right now that the season is officially over and we're entering into, this next year. But I wanted to use this as a jumping off point more so to talk about why we need to be more flexible with how we rank quarterbacks and just how we form opinions on all of these things, honestly. I think I'm kind of perfectly situated to have this conversation because going into this past season, it's like I had Jordan Love as like as an MVP front runner. You know, I was like expecting huge things from Jordan Love, and of course injuries and roster issues and stuff like that, like it derailed that. And I was both frustrated with how Jordan Love played, but also impressed at the same time. So it was a mixed bag, and that's totally okay. And it's totally okay to have you now move the rankings around to show how the season unfolded. Like that's okay. I remember Mike had a segment. I did the clip on it last summer, and he was like, Jordan Love, he's like, if we were to draft right now, Jordan Love would go number 2 overall. I think it was number 2 overall, maybe 1 overall. I think probably since Patrick Mahomes had just won the Super Bowl, my guess is it was probably number 2. I don't remember exactly. And like, this is the problem when you get married to a take. And it's just, I really think like, in a sports talk ecosystem where fans are included, the media is included, right? Like it's all of us, right? You know, YouTube, TV, media, whatever, fans in the comment section, fans in real life, like in person. And it's just like, you have to be more flexible and more open to kind of having these things kind of going up and down. Otherwise, it's kind of like, what's the point? Then you're just everything's just kind of set in stone. And we've seen this a few times now, both with Jayden Daniels, ironically, and Jalen Hurts, but for two completely different reasons, and Sam Darnold as well. And I want to go through them because it's like Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback, not that good of a quarterback, and you're waiting week to week to week for that to happen, for it to really show it. Then he wins a Super Bowl, and you're even then before that, you're just like, I don't think he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. Then he wins the Super Bowl, and you're like, nah, I don't care. The roster's not that good. I mean, the roster's too good. He's just not that good. Whereas if he lost in that Super Bowl, which is definitely obviously it's a possibility. Tom Brady has lost Super Bowls, right? Anyone can lose a Super Bowl. They would have said, see, I told you, he's not good enough. Then you have someone like Sam Darnold. Week after week played awesome with the Minnesota Vikings. Like, no, he's not good. Because look what he did in New York 5 years ago. And it's like, who cares about that? It's 2024 or 2025. Who cares about that? And they're like, nope, he's not good. And then he loses. He has a couple of rough games and he loses. And it's like, see, I told you, he's not good. And it's just like, and if he won, you would have had the same Jalen Hurts response as well. So nothing is actually then changing your view or your opinion of anything. And then on a slightly different side of this argument, it's like Jayden Daniels plays awesome, but he is a rookie. And it's like, don't crown him too soon. It's only been 1 year. And then it's like, okay, but like he played awesome. And for me, I'm more open and I enjoy takes to where we would say Jayden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, even as a rookie, which I'm not saying that's true. but I'm just saying, like, especially during as the season was unfolding, I'm more interested in those takes because they're just it's more present. It's more in like what we're seeing right now, rather than the immediate shutdown of saying, well, he's just a rookie. Let's see, we gotta see what happens. And it's like, well, obviously. Or the same takes where it's just like, we believe Patrick Mahomes to be the best quarterback in the NFL, but he's not playing that way right now. And so therefore it's okay to have him slide down. It's okay for you to believe that Jordan Love's going to be great. And then in 24, 25, the season doesn't quite unfold. And you could still believe, hey, I think there was a lot of circumstances that hurt him in that regard. And I believe he's going to be awesome in 25, 26. But you know what? Jayden Daniels had such a great year. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP, whatever it may be. He's got to slide down. Like, that's like, we have to be more flexible with that. Otherwise, we're just having the same conversation and conclusions that we drew essentially years ago, and then just nothing's changing our mind. And like, this is what happens when you have a take like that, where it's just like, I said that Jordan Love is second to only Mahomes, and I'm not budging off that no matter what I see. And the truth is like, again, Jordan Love absolutely impressed me last year. He also frustrated me, but he did not do enough last year for me to be able to firmly say, yep, he's still clearly the best, quarterback in the NFC. And it's just like, I mean, like, that's where we kind of keep getting trapped in. And honestly, the Mahomes Mountain, that Nick Wright does really highlights this probably better than anything. Because it's just, no matter what anyone else does, it's always like, right, it's a rich tapestry. And we always like make jokes about that and have fun with it. But it is always kind of like, no matter what someone does, it's like impossible for them to budge. And there's no like real rules, right? Because even someone like Aaron Rodgers, who's clearly not who he was before, but yet he's at the bottom of the mountain, but it's a rich tapestry. What about all the years that he was amazing, right? Like, so but granted, that's a more visual representation of how people's minds work, but like, that is what we're constantly doing in any of these given situations. But it's why I'm excited to be able to try to do this coming season, where we have more fluid quarterback rankings that are strictly as to what we're seeing right now. I don't care what happened the year before. I don't care what happened 5 years before. I don't care how many MVPs you have. Don't care. Lamar Jackson gets off to a slow start, Josh Allen, Mahomes, any of these guys gets off to a slow start, and Kirk Cousins is playing better than them, well, then Kirk Cousins is ranked higher. That to me is just more interesting. And I've I mentioned that now in a few videos. I find that more interesting than we just constantly just solidify how we view these quarterbacks, and then it just doesn't change. Or, we keep trying to we look for the evidence of a belief that we already hold, and we just keep looking for it. And even if we're just getting hit by an avalanche of evidence that shows the opposite, the moment we see some evidence that shows what we're trying to say, we're like, see, there we go. That's the truth. That's actually who Sam Darnold is, or who Jalen Hurts is. Like, it is kind of crazy when you think about it. Someone like Jalen Hurts is probably the perfect example here, since so many people doubted him throughout the year, and then even doubted his ability to win the NFC Championship game, win the Super Bowl. And he does that, and they're still like, nah, doesn't move the needle for me. But if he lost, it would have been as loud as you can be. See, I told you. I've been telling you this all year. He's not good enough. But then he proves to clearly be good enough, and yet it still doesn't move anyone's opinion. And we have different variations of that in a lot of these conversations, and like a list like this is kind of perfectly shows that in a lot of ways. And it doesn't mean that just because a quarterback has a down year means they have to slide, or you get decimated with injuries or whatever it may be. Like, it's not to say that, like, you can still make the argument that you believe that Jordan Love is the best quarterback in the NFC, even with the year that you had. It doesn't really, though. The argument has to be really sound, and it just, to me, when people start making lists like these, to me, it feels more of just like, this was my take before, and I'm just not moving off of it, right? I could understand why you would still have Jordan Love high up there, but, considering what we saw out of a Jayden Daniels, considering what we saw out of Jalen Hurts and whatnot, I mean, like, and to be fair, players like Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts become the most difficult to really put in an order of ranking, because they do have great rosters and the great coaching and whatnot, and that of course is going to help them. It can definitely be a little bit trickier in that regard. But yeah, I mean, a bunch of people were asking me about kind of reacting to this list, and I'm just at this point, I struggle to have like a deep conversation about like where various quarterbacks should be ranked right now. It's just like, again, we've done that for the last like 3 months, and I'm ready for real football conversations right now. So the best way that I could attack a clip like this is very much through the lens of just like, how do we view this stuff, right? It's to kind of have like a more meta, more pulled back conversation on the whole thing as a whole, rather than really like, where should Jordan Love be ranked? Where's Matthew Stafford? Why is Matthew Stafford not there? And so, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It is interesting to still kind of be putting out these lists right now, honestly. Like I said, as we're entering August, like, what do we got? Like 4 Sundays left of non-football, and then we're back. I think it's 4 Sundays left. I mean, we are so close. I feel like we really only got like 2 more weeks of it really being kind of like, we're really pulling. Like right now, all the news out of camp is either just like kind of like nonsense, where you see like any quarterback can make a great throw right now in the first couple of days of camp, right? Like some sort of back shoulder catch or whatever. And it's just like, okay, I expect you to be able to do that right now. Like you should be fully healthy. And then the other side of the coin of the news is like, so-and-so just tore up his ACL. He's out for the season. So it's just like, you kind of don't really want to hear anything out of camp right now. So, because it's either nonsense and it's like, who cares? Congrats, you made a great throw or whatever, or it's, oh great, you're done for the season. So these next 2 weeks are rough, man, but we'll get through it. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about this top 5 NFC quarterback list? And what do you think about the conversation? I guess more so, you can by all means share your comments on the list itself, but I'm also curious your thoughts on kind of the angle that I took on it in terms of the conversations that we have with regards to these rankings and the inflexibility that we often have. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.